Following WrestleMania XL Night 2, the Bloodline entered a new and more violent phase under the leadership of Solo Sikoa. He has seemingly assumed the role of the self-asserted tribal chief in Roman Reigns' absence. Sikoa removed Jimmy Uso from the equation and enlisted two of the most aggressive men in the wrestling business, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, Haku's sons. Meanwhile, Paul Heyman has tried to keep things together and under check, to little or no effectiveness. The narrative took another turn on Friday this past week. Out of respect purportedly, the wise man pleaded with Kevin Owens to back off the Bloodline. Sikoa and his partners also set a target on Owens, who was assisted by the Street Profits. The latest events involving Heyman and Sikoa dropped a few subtle events, especially concerning the immediate future of SmackDown's most dominant faction. 4. Jacob Fatu could be part of Solo Sikoa's master plan to keep Cody Rhodes in check. In a brilliantly produced and executed backstage segment, Paul Heyman had some handy advice for the tribal heir. Heyman expressed concern about the lack of strategy and planning behind the Bloodline's vicious assaults. According to Heyman, the end goal is to keep Cody Rhodes in check until Roman Reigns returns. Sikoa assured the wise man that he had the American Nightmare under watch. One theory is that Sikoa's master plan is to unleash Jacob Fatu on Rhodes. Fatu has long been rumored to join the dominant faction, but his debut has been delayed. WWE could be waiting for the most opportune moment, which could see Fatu pounce on Rhodes and make an unprecedented statement when least expected. As one of the most athletic and feared members of the Anoa'i family, Fatu could be a valuable asset to Sikoa, especially if the tribal prince uses him wisely. 3. Roman Reigns is no longer the tribal chief of the Bloodline. The wise man has repeatedly lamented that Roman Reigns, the undisputed tribal chief and head of the table, would not approve of the recent trajectory of the Bloodline. Unfortunately, Sikoa doesn't seem to care, for he is calling the shots in Reigns' absence with zero remorse. There is no clear indication of when the former undisputed WWE Universal Champion will return, so Sikoa may be the tribal chief for the foreseeable future. At least in Sikoa's eyes, he sees himself as tribal chief. With Haku's sons firmly acknowledging him, his stake to the claim also grows stronger with each passing week. 2. Paul Heyman hinted at historical tension within the Bloodline. The wise man has been deeply unsettled with the inclusion of Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa into the Bloodline. Given that they are Haku's sons, some feel they should have been enlisted into the faction a long time ago. However, Paul Heyman hinted at some historical tension within the Bloodline. The wise man believed that Haku's sons are too dangerous and violent to be members of the faction, and this could have been a potential reason for their prior exclusion. Judging by the amount of blood and violence fans have seen at their hands, Heyman may not be far from the truth. As for the historical tension, the WWE Universe would have to wait for more answers as the story unravels. 1. Paul Heyman is delivering the best work of his career. Paul Heyman has been the consistent highlight of WWE SmackDown in the post-Mania season. Unlike the remaining members of the Bloodline, Heyman has displayed tremendous emotion and character work, which has enhanced the storyline. Solo Sikoa and his new friends do less talking. Thus, casual fans struggle to make sense of their character as little connection is established. On the contrary, the wrestling world has gained a newfound respect for the wise man, who has consistently delivered on the mic. The words he exchanged with Owens felt real and inspired, a key element of building a compelling story. The concerns he expressed to Sikoa backstage felt legitimate and heartfelt, further enhancing the drama. Although he is a universally revered figure, Heyman's recent work has forever etched his name in greatness. On WWE SmackDown, Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa often communicate layers of narrative and intrigue about the Bloodline through subtle actions, expressions, and words. Here are 4 things they subtly told us about the Bloodline. #1. The power dynamics within the Bloodline. Paul Heyman, with his masterful promo skills, frequently hints at the intricate power dynamics within the Bloodline. One of the key nuances is how he interacts with Roman Reigns compared to other members. When Heyman speaks of Roman, his tone is reverent, almost fearful, underscoring Reigns' absolute dominance within the group. However, when addressing Solo Sikoa or the Usos, his demeanor subtly shifts, suggesting a hierarchy where loyalty is constantly tested. For instance, during segments where Heyman stands beside Solo, his body language speaks volumes. Heyman often positions himself slightly behind Solo, a nonverbal cue that Solo is a force to be reckoned with, yet still under the shadow of Reigns. This positioning not only establishes Solo's rising importance but also reinforces Reigns' supreme authority. Solo Sikoa's silent, stoic presence further enriches this narrative. His few words and intense stares are a testament to his role as the enforcer. In moments where he locks eyes with Heyman, there's an unspoken tension that suggests Solo's awareness of his own potential to disrupt the current power structure. His loyalty seems unwavering, yet his quiet demeanor leaves room for speculation about his true ambitions. #2. The fragile unity of the bloodline. Despite their united front, subtle cues from Heyman and Sikoa often hint at underlying fractures within the bloodline. Heyman's interactions sometimes reveal his concern over maintaining unity. His overly enthusiastic endorsements of Reigns' decisions can be seen as attempts to mask his anxieties about dissent among the ranks. Solo's actions, on the other hand, occasionally undermine this fragile unity. His refusal to join in on celebratory moments or his delayed responses to Reigns' commands suggest a brewing independence. In one particular SmackDown episode, Solo's hesitation before delivering a Samoan spike at Reigns' behest indicated a potential internal conflict. This hesitation, though fleeting, spoke volumes about the possibility of dissent growing within the bloodline's ranks. The way Heyman glances nervously at Solo during these moments adds another layer. His eyes darting between Reigns and Solo suggest his awareness of Solo's unpredictable nature and the delicate balance he must maintain to keep the bloodline intact. Heyman's constant vigilance serves as a reminder that while the bloodline may appear strong, its unity is fragile and constantly at risk of crumbling from within. #3. The burden of legacy. The weight of the bloodline's legacy is a recurring theme subtly conveyed through Heyman and Solo's interactions. Heyman, ever the orator, often references the Anoa'i family's storied past, but his eyes and tone sometimes reveal the pressure this legacy places on its current members. The reverence with which he speaks of past legends, juxtaposed with his occasional grim expressions, hint at the immense burden carried by Reigns and his cousins. Solo Sikoa's demeanor, often stoic and reflective, underscores this theme. His silence can be interpreted as a sign of his deep contemplation about living up to the family's legacy. Unlike his more vocal counterparts, Solo's few words and intense focus suggest a man deeply aware of the expectations placed upon him. His actions, more than his words, speak to his determination to uphold and possibly redefine the family's legacy. In a subtle yet poignant moment, Solo was seen staring at a framed photo of past Anoa'i family champions backstage. The camera lingered on his face just long enough to capture a rare glimpse of vulnerability, hinting at his internal struggle with the weight of his lineage. Heyman's subsequent approach, offering a few quiet words of encouragement, reinforced this narrative, showing the mentor's role in guiding Solo through the heavy burden of their family's storied past. #4. The inevitable clash of ambitions. Beneath the surface of loyalty and unity lies an inevitable clash of ambitions within the bloodline, subtly foreshadowed by Heyman and Solo's interactions. Heyman, always the strategist, often drops hints about future power struggles. His speeches sometimes include phrases that double as warnings, suggesting that the greatest threat to the bloodline could come from within. Solo Sikoa's quiet ambition is another subtle thread woven into the narrative. His reserved nature contrasts with his explosive in-ring style, suggesting a man who bides his time, waiting for the right moment to assert his dominance. Solo's occasional defiance, such as taking matters into his own hands during matches, hints at his growing impatience and desire to carve out his own legacy. During one SmackDown segment, Heyman's reaction to Solo's unexpected decision to attack an opponent without Reigns' command was telling. Heyman's shock quickly turned to a calculative look, as if assessing the potential shift in power this act represented. This moment subtly indicated that Heyman is constantly evaluating the balance of power within the bloodline, aware that Solo's ambition could one day challenge Reigns' reign. Furthermore, Solo's interactions with the Usos often carry an undercurrent of competitive tension. His stoic glances and measured responses to their banter suggest a silent rivalry, hinting that Solo's ambitions may not just be limited to supporting Reigns, but potentially surpassing his cousins. This dynamic adds another layer of complexity to the bloodline's narrative, foreshadowing a possible future where ambition leads to an inevitable clash. Conclusion. Through their subtle actions and interactions, Paul Heyman and Solo Sikoa have masterfully hinted at the deeper intricacies within the bloodline. From power dynamics and fragile unity to the burden of legacy and the clash of ambitions, these nuances enrich the storytelling and keep audiences engaged. Each glance, hesitation, and carefully chosen word adds depth to the narrative, painting a complex picture of one of WWE's most compelling factions. As the bloodline continues to evolve, these subtle cues will undoubtedly play a crucial role in shaping its future, making every SmackDown appearance a must-watch for fans eager to decipher the latest developments in this intricate saga.